Alright guys, we need to talk about Nioh 3 and Team Ninja as a whole. Now for those of you that don't know, Nioh is a game made by the same people who make Ninja Gaiden and the Dead or Alive series, okay? Nioh is what people refer to as a Souls-like, and in my opinion it's the best one. It's like top tier, okay? Top tier. Up there, right next to Lies of P. Way more in depth than Lies of P. Way more in depth than any of the Souls games. And I'm going to show that to you guys here today. And I think that Team Ninja, they deserve much more clout, more respect than they're getting in the industry. I feel like they're just kind of like shooed under the rug. And I don't really understand why. Because they put out banger after banger. Nioh 1. Nioh 2, one of my favorite games of all time, Wulong Fallen Dynasty, Rise of the Ronin, and now Nioh 3. These games, look, graphically, okay, we gotta be honest, right? I think the engine is aging, the graphics are not the best, I'll be the first to tell you. However, the art style, the combat, the music, all of it, top tier, especially the combat, music, and the enemy design, all are top tier. But the two things, in my opinion, where it absolutely beats the Souls games, like blows it out of the water, is in music and combat. So we'll use Elden Ring as an example because it's the most recent game, by From Software that's gotten released. In Elden Ring, yes, you can change your armor, yes, you can change your weapons, but there aren't really any effects or any kind of depth besides that on your gear, okay? Nioh, just take a look here. So you have, your weapon, and these stats here, you can see them here on the special effects. It goes all the way down. Eventually you can have like 6-7 stats on the weapons, like different abilities, and then you have your bow and arrow, and then there's 5 pieces of armor, okay? And each armor piece can have all these different effects. And then of course you have your 2 accessories, which is kind of like, I forget what they call them in Elden Ring, but just the things you can carry that give you like little tiny bonus things. Yes, you can do all that. And then of course, just like in Elden Ring, you have your magic. But that's where the similarities... Well, first of all, the similarities actually already stopped. They stopped with the armor pieces. Every single individual armor piece has different abilities and stuff. Elden Ring doesn't have that. You know what I mean? Like, you just get a helmet, you just get a chest piece, and that's all it is. And I think there was only 4 in Elden Ring. There's 5 here, right? You got your arms, your legs, your chest. What is this? Yeah. In the head, right? You got 5 pieces. So it's just, you got your pants too, right? So all the armor pieces have different things, right? Different abilities. And then your weapons obviously have different abilities. Like in, it was called like the Ashes of War or whatever it was, the Art of War that Elden Ring had. It was like one button that did like a special move. And like, that's it. The combat is just, light and heavy attack, and that's about it. In Nioh games and in Wulong Fallen Dynasty, the depth that you have, it's astronomical. This is just the demo, by the way, okay? So, and I haven't played Nioh in like, 3-4 years, right? Nioh 2 came out in 2020, keep in mind, okay? So it's been probably about 4 years since I've played, so I'm just getting back into it. So in Nioh, you have 3 stances. You have high, medium, and low stance, and each one of those stances has its own attacks. I mean, if you don't like things that are in-depth, okay, you guys, in-depth games, Nioh is not for you. If you like things to be very simple, like, I'm trying to think, just like a normal hack and slash, I don't know, I don't play any of those types of games, but if that's what you're into, do not play this game, because it'll blow your mind how many different things that there are, different combos and different stances and key pulses, and every type of weapon has its own attack patterns and special attacks. Okay, and then it's like, oh wow, like that's a lot of stuff, right? Each weapon has its own skill tree. Sorry, my line's falling. I mean, guys, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So each weapon has its own skill tree, okay, that you can unlock. And then you have a magic skill tree and a ninjutsu skill tree, kind of like in Elden Ring where you had the incantations, the faith, and the intellect, you know? But these are so much more in depth, man. And like you can just look at a couple of them here. The amount of variation that you can do, the builds that you can create in the Nioh games and Wulong. Wulong's kind of actually a more streamlined version of Nioh, I would say, personally. A little simpler to get into. If you're trying to get into these games, I personally would recommend... I'm going to make another video about that, but if you're trying to get into Souls types of games, personally I would recommend... Sekiro is like probably the simplest of them all, but it's very, very difficult. I think that Wulong or Eyes of P are two really good like starting points. Sekiro is just very, very difficult because you only have your deflect, and like if you can't get good with the deflect, you're pretty screwed. At least with Lies of P and Wulong, if you can't master the deflects in those games, which they're both deflect heavy, you have magical abilities. You have other things that you can use. You can use like the arm in Lies of P and stuff like that to kind of negate the difficulty curve there. So that's what I would recommend if you're trying to get into these games. Start with those. But when you're ready to like try to master these types of games, in my opinion, that's where you come to Nioh, Nioh 2, and then eventually Nioh 3 now, which is just insane. Absolutely insane. So yeah, I mean, the combat in these games, like I said, top tier. It beats Souls. It's not even close. There's this thing that's called a Ki Pulse too, which adds another whole layer of depth to the combat. So like you can see the stamina going down as I'm attacking, and there's that little white bar there. Well, Nioh has this very unique thing. It's called a Ki Pulse. So if you press a button right at the right time, you'll get your stamina back instantly. And for those of you that already have played any of the Souls games, you should know how important that is, how critical that is, how amazing that ability is, right? To have that, the Ki Pulse here. None of the Souls games has that, so that allows you, what does it allow you to do? It allows you to do more attacks, more dodges, more things quickly, right? Yeah, so the controls are so tight in these games. You know, you can do double jump here. They added it for Nioh 3, double jump. You can tack in the air and stuff like that. And they added two different, for Nioh 3, for those of you that are interested, Nioh 3 has two separate fighting styles. So not only do you have your high, medium, and low stance. So this is low stance, which is like, you know, super fast and drains less ki. And then you have medium stance. And like I said, it's a demo. I haven't unlocked high stance yet. So this is the samurai build. You press this button, you switch, you change outfits, first of all, so you get all new armor, you know? So if you go back into your menu where your armor is, all new armor, right? Like, absolutely bonkers. So you can have like two separate builds at once. So Nioh 3 is looking to be like, if you think that Nioh 1 or Nioh 2 was complex, Nioh 3 is taking it to a whole nother level. Oh, and then there's rarities. For those of you that are interested, there's rarities. You can see the different colors, white, blue, yellow, and there's orange, green, and I don't know if it's red or purple as well. Like the rarities go up as you know, get different rarities of gear. So you can have like gloves. It could be like 5 pairs of gloves, but they're all different rarities too. So for those of you RPG fans out there, you should be just foaming at the mouth to play a game like this. It's just... that's why it makes me so upset when I see that Team Ninja's not getting the love and respect that they deserve, because these games are top tier, man. Nioh 2 was my personal like game of the year in 2020. It was up there with The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, and it didn't even get nominated. Forget about winning anything. It like didn't even get nominated. It just gets passed over. Their games just get looked over, and I don't know why. The only reason I can personally think is that people are very shallow So it's because of the graphics. You know, it's not the best looking games, and it's unfortunate. I really hope that they, you know, either upgrade this engine, like do a massive overhaul, or even better, just start using like Unreal Engine 5, because they did that with Ninja Gaiden 2, you know, and that game looks incredible. And I played it. If you haven't played it, please do. It plays and looks exceptional. So I was kind of hoping that's what they would do for Nioh 3, but they're sticking with their old engine here, which is unfortunate. But once you get past the looks, man, I promise you, it is to me, it's going to be an amazing combat experience for you. I can guarantee that. But for me, it's not an amazing experience. It is literally the best combat in any video game that I've ever played. Any third-person action-adventure game that I've ever played. I really love God of War as well. I think that's an incredible game combat-wise. God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, truly. But for the depth that is here, the different combos you can do, the build variety, the amount of weapons that there are. I mean, you got dual swords, regular swords, axes, you got claws, like everything like Elden Ring, you know, and the FromSoft games. You have all those, but the amount of perks and buffs that you can put onto those weapons, and eventually you can control the perks and stuff that come onto the weapons and armor. Like eventually you have some degree of control in customizing the way these things not only look, but the way they play. And it's essentially it's limitless. It's limitless. Whereas in, like, you know, Elden Ring and, you know, the FromSoft games, even Bloodborne, which is like my personal favorite, love Bloodborne. It was actually the game that got me into the FromSoft games, to the Soulsborne franchise. The combat in depth and character customization. This is the basic character, okay? They have it locked down. You can't do anything with the character creator because it's just the demo, it's the alpha. But Team Ninja has a history of letting you customize in the beta, so hopefully that'll come out, you know, I don't know, September. And to me, it is this and Nioh games and the Dragon's Dogma 2. They have the best character creators that I have ever seen. And Wulong, which is also made by Team Ninja, have the best character creators of any game that I've ever seen. They have sliders like you wouldn't believe. The amount of styles you can do, hair, skin, body type, whatever you want, you can make some amazing looking characters. And this is, like I said, this is the default character. I wasn't able to customize her at all. So, yeah, and these little green guys, in case you're wondering, this is the shrine. Like, this is where you pray. This is the bonfires, right? For those of you Soul fans out there, it's where you come to upgrade everything, right? And these little guys, they're called Kodamas. And that's another thing about. Amazing thing about Nioh, man, is like all of this is based on Japanese lore. Like these Kodama guys, they exist. Like they exist in the lore of Japan. You can study in all of the enemies are called yokai, which are like, you know, the way Japanese view demons and spirits. And the lore, if you go look up yokai and the lore of them in Japanese culture, it's so rich and it's endearing and it's so interesting. Like it's really they take history, pieces of history, right, and different figures that existed throughout history in Japan, and then they make these games, Nioh and Wulong, and these stories about them and the enemies, right, and they personify them and they give them life, because these pictures were drawn, you know, on old pages back then, and they take these creatures and they make them monsters in the game, you know, and they're very disturbing. They're very cool looking. So yeah, it's just I cannot say enough good things about the Nioh games, man. About Team Ninja as a whole. They deserve so much more love than they're getting in the world. And I just want to see them, you know, be up top the way people talk about FromSoft and Square Enix and Capcom and these types of, and these companies, which are all great companies, mind you. Like all those companies, they deserve the love that they get. Do not get me wrong. But I think Team Ninja deserves to be in that conversation. Team Ninja deserve a seat at the table. Okay? They deserve a seat at the table, just like all those other companies. And one little other tiny detail, there's a lot of tiny details in this game. You can sheath your weapon. Okay? I know it seems small, but look. You can sheath your weapon. And to me, It's little details like that that set it apart. And in Nioh 2, after you are fighting and your weapon's all covered in blood, you can like fling your weapon before you sheath it. So if this was all covered in blood, she would fling it, the blood would splatter on the ground, and then she would sheath it. And it's those types of details, man, that for someone like me, going the extra mile, it's the amount of immersion that you have. And there's so many other things in this game, man. Like this little bar down here, you can see it, the little green bar right next to my health and my key. It's your guardian spirit. When that thing fills up, you can kind of think of it like a super in Destiny, like an ultimate ability. And then you genuinely just turn into like a spiritual being, which also is in Japanese lore, right? It's incredible. And then you're like invincible, doing these amazing moves for like 10 seconds, you know? That's just so cool. The power fantasy. The power fantasy in these games, Team Ninja nails it. They absolutely nail it. And the progression, you know, going from little weak scrub to absolute god tier, starting down low, you know, and then working your way up to god tier. They do it so well. I cannot say enough good things. So, yeah, I know I'm forgetting a lot of stuff, but bottom line, you guys gotta give Team Ninja the respect they deserve. Give them their flowers. Give them a chance. You know, go play Wulong. Go play Nioh 1. Nioh 2 is my personal favorite out of those three. Rise of the Ronin is great as well. It's an open world, which this also is, by the way. Let me show you the map. This is open world. The other Nioh games, Nioh 1 and 2, are level-based, which I personally love because the market is oversaturated with open world games. So I'm not a huge fan of open world games. Most of the time you're just running around in a field and there's nothing to do. Here, it looks like they're kind of taking... In Nioh 1 and 2, it was very level-based. Pretty linear. I would liken it to Bloodborne. Or Sekiro, where you have these like little levels and you have to, you know, you find like shortcuts that loop back on themselves so that you can get back to the bonfire. That's how Nioh 1 and 2 were. A lot of people said they didn't like the levels. I don't know. I think it's kind of just like a hive mind, like an echo chamber. Somebody said they didn't like it, then everyone else just said they didn't like it. Because I've played all these games and I'm telling you, they're amazing level designs. They're really good. Maybe a little too linear for most people, right? Especially if you're coming from Elden Ring. But this, Nioh 3, is open world. And it's like, the way it appears to me, this is just the demo, but the way I've seen it so far, it kind of seems like it's open area, not like a mini open world, which to me is perfect. It's a great balance in between the two. So it's not so linear like the old Nioh games, but it's not so open world like Elden Ring or Zelda where you're just running around fields for years on end with nothing to do before you run into anything interesting. Here, it's like, yeah, it's open. There's like, I can go like 4 different ways, but as soon as I start going one of those 4 different ways, something interesting is going to happen almost instantly, you know? Whereas in Elden Ring, you could ride Torrent, your horse, around for minutes before you found anything. You see what I'm saying? So I think this is like a perfect middle ground. And then you zoom out, the map is huge. So I don't know, this is a tease, like I said. If they're showing us this as the demo, to me that shows nothing but confidence, how confident they are in the game. So, yeah, you got bow and arrows, you got guns, too. There's all different kinds of spirits. There's like 20 different spirits. So like your super ability, your ultimate abilities can be, 20 different things. I know I'm forgetting a lot of stuff. There's so many different types of magic and so many different types of ninjutsu that you can do. As much, if not more, than Elden Ring. And you can upgrade them, unlike in Elden Ring. Like, once you got a magic ability, like Comet was like one of the only things, a little pebble, that was like one of the only ones that you could really upgrade in that game. In these, you can upgrade, at least you could upgrade most of them, if not all of them. There's full co-op, 3-player co-op in here too. You know, you got Revenants, like you got this guy, it's just like an AI buddy I could bring in, but I can also bring in humans, like you can bring in real humans to play, or you can go help people, and it's not super hard to do like Elden Ring, where you have to go through all this crap in order to do it. I could literally jump here, summon a visitor, or become a visitor in someone else's game. Like, it's quick. I think this is grayed out, because I can only, during this particular mission, for some reason, I don't know. But yeah, it's that quick, like you click the thing and you're going. So it's like, it has all the elements that the Souls games has and more, and it's better in my opinion. You know, these are better games in many, many ways. The enemy design is just as good. Bloodborne, I think, might be top tier, right? Bloodborne's hard to beat. I love how brutal that game is and the creepiness of their enemies, but Nioh is up there with the best. That's what I'm saying. Like, whether it's better or the same or even a little worse, in your opinion, my whole point is, you guys, Team Ninja and these games that they make, they deserve a seat at the table. They deserve to be talked about in the same conversation as the Square Enixes, the Capcoms, the From Softwares, these companies that are also top tier. I love all those companies very, very much. Team Ninja deserves to be in that same conversation. And for some reason, in my experience, everywhere I look online, they're not. No one even brings them up. They just say, oh, Nioh, it's that Souls-like clone, you know, it's not very good. Very few people give it a chance, and I truly believe that it's like a hive mind, like an echo chamber. Some of the, you know, streamers and influencers, somebody said it or whatever, probably because they got their ass kicked. I remember when I started playing Nioh 1, it took me, I promise you, I think like 20 hours or 25 hours to really start to understand the game. Because it was unlike anything that I ever had played before. And I'd played Bloodborne, mind you, and Sekiro. But Nioh, it was just so obtuse, man. It's so complex. Like, I was looking at all these different stats, you know, all these different things, and trying to understand what everything was, and like the different rarities of everything, and then you're looking at the abilities that you have, the martial arts. Every single weapon had a skill tree, you know. Not only that, then there's actual combos inside of the weapons, and I was just like, dude, this is too much. This stuff is too much. Obviously, you can upgrade your stuff just like in Bloodborne, just like in the Elden Ring games. You know, you got your vigor and your stamina, all that stuff. But it was just so much. It was too in-depth. You can collect these little kodamas throughout the level. It's one of my favorite things to do in this game is collect these guys, and they give you little buffs. They're just hidden around the world, and they all have their own little personality. Like, look at that guy over there with the red hat. He's just like sleeping like with his arms back, you know? So chill. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. In this game, like I said, you can switch between ninja style and a samurai. So they have completely different movesets, you know? You got the ninja style, and then the samurai, slower and more direct, more precise. You know, crouch, stealth around. You can do assassinations, everything. It's just, you know, Assassin's Creed, From Soft games, everything all rolled into one. And it's just... And it's not like it's bad. It's not like it's, oh, you put everything together and the dish tastes bad. You know what I mean? You put all these ingredients together and it doesn't taste good. No, it tastes amazing. And another thing, we're not really hearing it here, but the music. The music. Let me see if I can just go to the menu. I don't even know if I can quit from here. Can I? Return to title screen? Yeah. The music. You're only going to hear a little tune here. Nioh 1 and Nioh 2's music. And I'm hoping Nioh 3's. This is the Nioh theme. This is it. I don't know if you can hear it very well because my mic is facing this way and the TV's behind it, but that's where there's no comparison. It's like Cleric Beast in Bloodborne, you know, is up there, right? And Hunter's Dream. And then there's a few songs in Elden Ring. But the Nioh music, overall, there's no comparison to me. You gotta listen to these songs like called Dreaming, Soaring. Those are the two that come off the top of my head. Obviously the theme. The Freed from This Mortal Coil, type in that song from Nioh 1 or 2. They're different. It's like a remix in 2 with like angels kind of singing it. Freed from This Mortal Coil is what plays when you die. And then the battle music. Oh my god, the battle music. I'm forgetting the names of the Nioh music when you're fighting. It is some of the most aggressive pump-up orchestra music that I've ever heard in a video game. Puts most games to shame. And the composers never talked about. Never talked about. I don't get it, man. It has its own charm, you know? It's like Lies of P came out, and it's amazing, and it's getting all this love, and it should. It should. Do not misunderstand me. Lies of P deserves the love that it gets. The music in that game is top tier. But so is this. So is this. You know? It's different. This is very Japanese, and it sounds great. And Lies of P has that orchestra, like, you know, Victorian era, like England type. You know what I mean? Like, Lies of P has that great sound, and I love it for what it is. But Nioh and Team Ninja, everyone's sleeping on them, man, and Wulong. They sleep on these games. And I'm so tired of it. So I'm hoping here with Nioh 3, this will be the turn of the tide. I feel like, you know, I have a lot of missions in life that I want to accomplish, right? And I feel like one of my life missions is to help Team Ninja get the respect they deserve, you know? They still allow, you know, great character customization with sliders where you can make beautiful looking characters, you know, where the whole industry is totally against that. They still allow it. You know, I'm scared about Nioh 3. They haven't shown us yet. Hopefully they keep the trend going. The character customization is so in-depth, you know? The combat, just... You know I'm repeating myself. I just... It's like when you're defending something that you love that you know is so good. You want to drive home the points of how amazing it is. You know? It's super complex. The game, the depth of the game, like the combos, at least in Nioh 2, like, you could put on abilities to the end of your combos even. It got so nuts. You know, as you're doing a combo, if you pressed a different button instead of one button, it's like a fighting game, you know what I mean? Because I never really got into fighting games, but I know how complex some of the combos are. You can look them up online, the combos, the strings you have to type in order to make the characters do certain moves. Yeah, it's like that. And then you can have, like, your last swipe can, like, inflict fire. Or if you press something else, it'll inflict, you know, lightning. You know, or it'll do a completely different move entirely based on what you're doing. Oh, and you can, like, switch weapons mid-combo, too. Like, so you're, like, doing one combo with your sword, and then mid-combo, you press a certain sequence of buttons, you switch to your axe, and you finish off the combo with your axe. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me, man? None of the From Software games have any of that kind of depth. It's like dodge, dodge, hit, hit. You know what the boss is? Magic. Dodge, dodge, hit, hit. Parry, parry with Sekiro, which is great. Yeah, this has all of that. And then times 10. Times 10. If you know how to use the systems. If you don't believe me, like I said, just go type in, you know, advanced gameplay, pro gameplay of Nioh players, and you'll see. Like, I'm good, but I'm no professional. There's these guys out there that'll blow your mind with how good they are. Gamebreaker God, I think, is one that comes to mind. I think he was really good at Nioh 2. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. You can quote me on his God of War gameplay. That guy's like the best God of War player I think I've ever seen. Insane, his combos. So, yeah. Give it a shot, you guys. The demo's out. If you see this video, I'm going to upload it right now. June 5th, 2025. The demo's out for like 2 weeks. Give it a play. It's only on PlayStation, and it's coming to PC. I think at launch, February, early 2026. So hopefully, you know, I'm buying it. For me, instant buy, and I play about 5 games a year. If you look at my channel, you can see it. You can see the evidence of this. I play about 5 AAA games per year. I don't waste my time. I only play the best of the best of what I think is the best. So I recommend you do the same. Our time is limited on this earth, right? You only want to engage with the highest quality of art. And to me, this is it. The graphics need some workups, but everything else. Combat, lore, you know, the backstory, things like that. Music, customization, the depth, level design. It's all top tier. It's all top tier to me, man. So, that's it. You know, I haven't seen many people talking about the Nioh demo. All I see online is, oh, watch me play the Nioh demo for 3 hours. You know what I mean? It's just like people uploading like 2-hour videos of them just playing it. And I have those videos too. But I want people to talk about their impressions, talk about, you know, the actual game and what it is and how it plays, and like talk to the people, talk to you, the viewers. Why should you play this game? Hopefully I convinced you. If not, there's another video that I made years ago on an old channel. You can type it in. It's the longest Nioh review in the world for Nioh 2. You just type in the best Dark Souls game that you've never played, and you'll see that video. So like an hour 45 minutes where I just talk about Nioh 2, and I really go in depth and I explain everything as to why Team Ninja is top tier and that game is the best. This is just a passion-filled, you know, rant that I'm doing here with that video. The longest Nioh 2 review in the world, that video. It's on my old channel, unfortunately, but that should show you everything. That will show you everything that you need to know. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Go play Nioh and give Team Ninja the love and respect that they rightfully deserve, man. I am the Lion of Truth. See ya.